Are you excited to swatch 120 Faber-Castell colored pencils? I'm Jenny from Jenny's Crayon Collection. I help you guys find the coolest art supplies for whatever project you're doing. So make sure you hit that subscribe button below. I'm excited to swatch these with you today. I made this sheet. It's the 120 Faber-Castell swatch sheet. If you don't have 120 Faber-Castells, you can still use the swatch sheet so you can see what colors that you have, and then as you buy more you can fill them in. And the really good thing about Faber-Castell is their colors are consistent throughout their products. So if you make one swatch sheet and you don't have time to make it for another product that you want to use from them, you can reference the colors that came on the swatch sheet. So that's really neat. Faber-Castell has done that. And another thing I want to highlight about Faber-Castell is their colors have light fastness. Now, what does that mean? That means that they will not fade as much with sunlight. I colored something with Copic markers and it has faded like a lot. I probably should have put some kind of finish on top of that, but I didn't, and so it's faded. Faber-Castells have good light fastness, and so I'm going to read to you what exactly they mean. I have this in the sheet also. If they have 1 star, the reasonable light fastness, and that's not very many of them. 2 is high light fastness, so you're starting to get that reasonable good fastness at 2. And then if they have 3 stars, they're at the maximum. So you can put it on your wall. You don't have to worry about the sun fading it because they are made for that, which is super, super neat. Anyway, let's get this started. I can't wait to share this with you today. Here are our Faber-Castell 120 color pencils. I've shown you all the names and kind of shown you the box a little bit before. How pretty is that inside? And here's all our pencils. They come out like this. What we're going to do is I have all these labeled on here, and we'll just take this out and we'll find out where it goes. And I'll say the name. So we have Burnt Carmine. At first it'll take a little bit of time to find them, but then once we find them, it'll be a lot easier. I'm gonna start dark up in the corner. Now I am trying to push as hard as I can to see what the color is like, and then I'm pushing as soft as I can at the end. See what kind of gradient I get, and look at that, that's beautiful. Next one I have is Caput Mortum Violet. Okay, right here, let's see how violet it looks. I also have this sheet, like a little swatch chart. This one almost looks brown, doesn't it? So you could print it out if you wanted to do that first. I have Caput Mortum. So one of them is going to be violet, one's going to be more brown, I believe. I went really light, really fast. Back over that and go a little bit darker, so we'll get that gradient in there instead of me just completely stopping. They're very similar. I can see the violet in here a little bit more, because when you get colored pencils, and especially if you're paying for 120 and how much money these are, depending on if you get the wood case, these would be like $300. Earth green, $172. Or if you're getting this case, which is more closer to $200, you want to make sure that you're getting a bunch of different colors. You don't want to be paying for the same color over and over again. So you want to make sure that the colors are unique. And that's why doing the swatch chart is nice, because you could choose too for yourselves. You could look at it and say, hey, maybe I don't need the 120, maybe getting the 60 or the 72 would be good. You can see what colors come in. That. How I did this chart, there's a ton of greens in here. That's why I left some blank spots here, because there's not as much yellows and all that stuff. Earth green, yellowish. This is earth green. Oh yeah, earth green is right here. over it again, just to give it a little bit more of a gradient. Okay. The next one is Chromium Green Opaque. This is definitely different than Earth Green. Okay. So we're getting a little bit more yellowish. Earth Green, yellowish, exactly what I said. This one's more turquoise, and this one is more going to your yellow. Dark is very pretty. This one is May Green. You may decide, you may look at these charts and be like, oh, well, I really love that color from Faber-Castell, but I really love this Prismacolor or this Crayola color. That's all I've done so far. What other colored pencils do you guys like? Let me know, and I have to save up a little bit for them. They're not cheap. This one is Green Gold. Ooh, that one's super pretty. I still like that you get this color even though you don't press, it's light. Olive green, yellowish. I was wondering why I put it there, but it does look kind of brown. There will be a link below for this chart that you can pick up. This one is Juniper Green. I think I'm already gonna like this one. Juniper Green. This one's kind of like the Earth Green, but a little bit more pigmented. Pretty, pretty. A little bit more green. Chrome Oxide Green. Pretty, pretty. And we have Pine Green, which is up here in the corner. Knock on wood, I haven't broken any tips yet. It's one of the concerns. So I'm looking at these two, Pine Green and Juniper Green. They look pretty similar to me. If I was buying these individually, I'd probably just buy one of them. All right, Permanent Green Olive. Permanent Green, Grass Green, Permanent Green Olive right here. And I might change a couple of placements on this chart. Like I might move this one here and this one here. Chrome Oxide Green and Permanent Green Olive. I might change the places on it when you get your chart. Permanent Green. That one's pretty. Leaf Green. Right here. Say these are probably pretty similar, but this one is definitely different. And I might move that one more here and that one more here. It'll just depend on what it looks like. Okay. Grass green. Grass green and leaf green look pretty similar to me right now. Pretty similar, those two. Light green. The lights are going to be in the middle, the darks are going to be on the outside is how I did it. So I tried to do a little bit circular, but I did true circle. This is one, when you start to get lighter, this is my concern. Can you make this color by pressing lightly with that color? Like, does that look like this color? That's why if you're just gonna buy a few of these, I would buy the more saturated ones because you can probably get the lighter colors without it. Light phthalo green. And I will have this chart on my website too. I'll put in the colored one, and I have the ones with the hex colors and stuff. Emerald green. So you can kind of compare and see if you're trying to decide on certain colors. If you want to get the whole box, I'll leave a link for that below too. But if you're just trying to decide between or get the individual ones, phthalo green. I do like this, the one I got, because it has storage for all of them. So that's one thing you do have to worry about too. You can put into the cost. You can consider how much is it going to cost me to store it. So is buying a container worth it? Because sometimes chrome oxide green, sometimes containers cost as much as the colored pencils would have, and you would have had somewhere to put your colored pencils. Chrome oxide green. Definitely gets easier as more of them gets filled in. There we go. These are similar, but not as similar as these two and these two. We're on dark phthalo green. Phthalo. I don't know how to pronounce that. Definitely looks green. Anyway, as I was saying about the circular thing, if I was doing a true circle, we'd have a bunch of holes, so I can't exactly do that, but I tried to make it the best I could to be circular. The darks on the outside and the less saturated on the inside, hooker's green. Then you also have to say, is that one more yellow? Is that one more green? Can't always be perfect in every aspect. Now these are looking pretty similar, but not that much. Not like some of the others. Deep cobalt green. So your deep cobalt green starts to go towards that blue with that cobalt in there. A lot of times these names, if there's more than one color listed, it will kind of describe to you what is going on with the colored pencil. Cobalt green. So this is cobalt green by itself. This one's deep. How do they compare? This one is definitely bluer. That one, the deep cobalt green, has more green in it. This one has more of a light blue base to it. And they're similar names, they're different colors. Light cobalt turquoise, not to be confused with cobalt turquoise. This is light cobalt turquoise. Kind of similar to cobalt green, but different. I wonder, this is another one where it's like, could you get this color with this? Just pressing lightly and maybe adding some white or not cobalt turquoise. I like this one. Definitely saturated. Helio turquoise. Very dark, as expected. Getting into the blues now. Prussian blue. Another very dark color. This one is bluish turquoise. Very pretty again. I love how the chart starts to come together. When you do light phthalo blue, when you do the first ones, it's always like, where does it go? Creating that chart, and then when you start to put them in, see how they are interacting with one another and kind of get the idea of what they'll look like on the page when you color with them. This one is middle phthalo blue. That one's very pretty and dark. They do smudge a little bit, I've noticed that. So if you're coloring, I'm gonna start here or here. If you're left-handed, go here to here, which I just happen to do. And you keep your arm up a little bit. This one is phthalo blue. I have to figure out what the meaning of that word is. Okay. Pretty, very similar to those names. We have sky blue. Starting to get into our, and you notice when so on these ones, I'm probably pressing the same. I lift off a little bit sooner, and you can see how all of a sudden it does, like you get a lot of gradient with the darker colors, but these you don't get as much gradient because they don't start off as saturated. Light ultramarine. This one's ultramarine. It's gonna be a little bit darker. Okay. All right. We have cobalt blue. That one's pretty. Almost have a third done. Helio reddish, which is blue reddish. It's interesting. That's kind of just like saying violet, right? Because red and blue make what? Cobalt blue greenish. Oh, pretty. Oh, that looks so pretty. Indanthren blue. You know, I should do a video with like the meaning of color names. If you guys would like that, let me know. And we can go through some of these. I also saw this, I think, in the Super Tips from Crayola. This name, Indanthren. So it's not unique to Faber-Castell. right on top of one another. Just go into our, since we're on our purples, I'll just stay with my purples. Make sure we see that. Okay. This one is dark indigo, which is up here. This one is almost black. I debated putting the grays. Sometimes I put the grays up here. They just worked out better. Because I put browns down here, grays up here sometimes. They worked out better this time down below. Just trying to make everything fit in it. Like I said, as square as much as possible. Delft blue, which is looks a little purpley to me. It definitely comes out as purpley. We're starting to get into our purples. Our mauve. Now I see it coming in. This one is definitely more red than Delft blue. But it's not as mauve-y as I would think. Blue violet. So how does this one compare to Delft blue? They look kind of similar to me. Very similar. So far we've seen maybe 3. These two, and these two that look very, very similar. So it's answering the question, is the 120 pack worth it? Do you get enough unique colors that it's worth the cost? I mean, if there's only 6 that are like that, then maybe. But we are not all the way done yet. So we have our violet. This one is not as saturated. This was pretty hard that I was pushing there. Manganese. Not manganese violet. Oh, it is manganese violet. Okay, I was gonna say, I don't see another manganese. You can see these are definitely getting more reddish in tone here. I don't really see a lot of like combined colors. Like you see cobalt green, but you don't see blue green in here. You see cobalt blue greenish, but you don't see just regular blue green. You see purple violet, you see blue violet, you see violet, you see red violet. But other than that, do we see like just like yellow green? I don't see as much of that in this set. Crimson. Light red violet. Middle purple pink. Ooh, I like this one. Also, let me know which one, as I'm coloring, guys, which one is your favorite. Pink Matter Lake. Very pretty. Light magenta. Magenta. So we're starting to get into the reds a little bit. This one definitely looks red. It'd be interesting too to like compare mauves and fuchsias and all those other colors from across different spectrums of colors. And this time I think I like doing the sheet beforehand. Sometimes when I do my swatches, I'll write the color names. I think this one goes a little bit faster and it looks a little bit neater for storage. Light purple pink. The other one's a good tool too if you just kind of want to see the colors, and sometimes if I want to show it to you and we don't need the full-on typed up sheet. Rose Carmine. Because sometimes we're just seeing them for the first time, so we have no idea what the color sheet would look like. So you do have to do the swatches. So you could do that. You could do 2 swatch charts if you don't know what the colors look like beforehand. This one is Pink Carmine. I'm always nervous when I do this though too, speaking of which, that I will accidentally color the wrong swatch. We are on to Matter. I was talking about, I'm like, where are these lakes? Because there's like a pink Matter lake. This the pinks go, so we need to figure out dark red. We need to figure out where these lakes are so we can go visit them, or we can, I mean, at least I can do a video. Like here is the lake they were talking about. I will definitely do video on common names. Middle cadmium red. Middle cadmium red. So we're definitely getting to the reds here. You start pushing soft. Ah. So easy to push hard. Even when you push medium, it still comes out pretty well. Deep red. So I wonder what the difference between deep and dark is, honestly. Permanent Carmine. Very pretty. We're on Deep Scarlet Red. Getting to the more orangey reds. See that little faint of orange coming in. Pale Geranium Lake. Geranium. So we have a geranium and a madder lake. I wonder if they're close to each other, if that's where all these color names came from. This one is Scarlet Red. Definitely orange. We've got our orange coming in there. We're at light cadmium red. Cadmium is what's in a battery, right? I think. I'm not sure. I think it has something to do. It's some kind of metal. I don't think there's metals in these color. I wonder where that's derived from. I need to do research, and we're gonna get a video on these. Dark cadmium orange. If you guys know, it'll save me a little bit of time in research if you know where some of these are coming from. I'm sure Wikipedia knows. Regular dictionaries know. Orange glaze. And also, whatever I find out, I can also put it on my website. I do have a website. Like, the sheet will be on there, so if you want to see it in more detail. But if you want to look at it, like in the video, the resolution won't be as good as like a high quality photo would be. So on my website, you can see those high quality photos. Cadmium orange. But also on my website, you can't color on my website. That's why I like YouTube and a website, because a website, you can put a single picture, and people love single pictures, dark chrome yellow. And you can get, like they say, a picture, say 1,000 words. But also, what you don't get in online is sometimes like this. You wouldn't get the coloring, you wouldn't get the interaction. I feel like I'm able to talk to you guys, and you guys talk to me in the comments, dark cadmium yellow. So I feel like we have this good communication going on, whereas on the blog, we don't probably get as much communication. So I'm not talking to you, I'm just writing sentences, and people read them. But it's very useful. They're both useful. Cadmium yellow. Cadmium must be like an orange base color. We're starting to get to the lighter colors, light chrome yellow. Whereas like when I let up from coloring, like the hardness, all of a sudden the color just goes away. These colors are really good, like cadmium yellow, for blending. Especially the white and the cream that are going to be coming up. Let's see. We have cadmium yellow lemon. It's a little bit more yellow. I think I'm going to switch in the swatch chart these two. So it's a little bit greener. Light yellow glaze. These two are similar, but not that similar. All right, we come to cream, where these next three, you're gonna hardly get to see. They would make really good blenders. So don't discount the light colors if you want to blend. But if you're just looking to get, this is ivory, super light. I can hardly see it. Like, I'm pressing as hard as I can right here, and I can hardly see that. And then we have white. I don't know where the red violet is. Hopefully we don't have like an extra color. Like, they changed their box around and didn't tell us. I think this is this year's. I really love these strings right here. Not all of them have it, but it's super nice to be able to pick them up like that. Oh, as I'm speaking, red violet's right here. So, I wonder if it's kind of more in the brownish category. I don't know why. Oh, these are all kind of, I don't know how they organize them. Salmon. Where is salmon? Interesting. Let's see. There's cinnamon. Let's keep salmon right here for right now. If we need to, we can add a spot right there. Coral. Don't tell me I have to do this again. 120. Or I'm missing ones from this one. Maybe. Okay. Beige red. If I'm missing a whole line, that's odd. Okay. Cinnamon. I'll figure out if my chart might be missing those colors. Very real possibility. Pompeian red. I think that's after a liter back in the day. It's a good thing we have space over here. We can just kind of write them in, right? Then we'll write with the black. India red. That's interesting. Instead of being Indian red. Oh, and I did write Indian red right here. That's interesting. You know what? I didn't write that. I wonder if they changed that. Because I grabbed these. I don't think I typed them up. So I'll have to see. I'll let you know if it did change. Venetian red. Because they could have changed it from Indian to India to specify where it came from. Whereas Venetian, they wouldn't need to change because there's not anything associated with Venetian, but like Indian, they could be like, oh, we're going to change that to make it more in line with politically correct right now. Right, we have sanguine. Burnt ochre. We're starting to get into, not confused with brown ochre. This is burnt ochre. Starting to get into the browns and the oranges. Okay, terracotta. So I haven't seen light flush, medium flush, or dark flush. You know, I wonder, so I pulled this from the Polychromos website. I wonder if they did change the colors. I wonder if they changed them to the flush colors out. We'll have to see. It's very interesting that they changed the colors to coral, salmon, and beige red. I wonder if that's what they did. To be also more politically correct. Because this box, I just got this year. And this could have been like online and maybe they didn't update it yet. Their color list, light yellow ochre. Especially with all these random names, I didn't want to like misspell them. That's why I like copied and pasted names. Naples yellow. If anyone ever wants to edit my stuff, my website, as we're talking about website, typing mistakes, oh gosh. If you ever want to come, I would love anyone that would do that. Be like, hey, these are all the typos, just fix them. Because it's one of those things, when you're writing it, you don't see it, but if you're looking at someone else's work, it's so easy to see. So I wonder if I should just, you know what? We can chew 132 light flush. I just thought of that. The number's not going to be this. Coral is 131, which is medium flush. Yep, they changed them all right. Light salmon. Salmon is 130. So I'll put those in that spot. When I do this, I don't know what to do, because if you have an older set, you'll want that one, 182 brown ochre. But if you have the newer set, you would want the new colors. So maybe what I'll do is I'll make two versions. So when you sign up, these are the updated colors from 2020. I don't know when they changed it. They could have changed it. Raw umber. This is my first ever box of raw umber. My first ever box of these colored pencils. Just because they're so expensive, I had never bought any before. It's not that I didn't want to. There's so many supplies that I would want to buy. I just don't have thousands of dollars to spend, so I buy them as I can. And because you guys, you guys watch my videos and all that stuff, I am starting to make some money, so then I can turn that money back into buying supplies for you guys. And I'm trying to think of other ways too. So if there's things that you guys are interested in getting, let me know. So that way I can, yeah, definitely buy more supplies. Because this one I was able to buy with some of the earnings I made for my website and YouTube. So like I said, they are expensive. So this is my first ever box. Nougat. That India red for umber. And some of you guys are in my Facebook coloring group. That one's been growing, Burnt Sienna. And I don't know if you guys found it because you were Googling, not Googling, just looking. I should ask in there how you guys found the group. I'm like, I don't know if you're watching my videos and then finding the Facebook group. If you're just like, oh, this is cool, like searching for it on Facebook. I'm getting tons of requests and people are sharing their artwork, and it's so fun to see. There was someone that colored these bricks. Maybe I will ask if I can share that on this video with you guys. She did an amazing job. Dark sepia. So I'm loving seeing, oh, you know what? You know what I didn't do? And I will fix this for you guys. Like, I'm finding so many errors. You guys probably won't even be able to tell once I do this right. There's not a line down here, but your guys' will be updated. This is kind of like the testing ground for my website. I'm like, I will test the worksheets first. I forgot to do that one line. I was just so obsessed with getting it going. This is the testing ground when I do this for my website. Like, what can I do different? You know, I could always take, well, except for that sepia, that's kind of brown. I was like, maybe I could take this line and put it up here and keep this line down here because this is more warm. But I do like seeing the contrast of the warm and the dark grays. But I will probably change these two. You guys will get the super updated version of this swatch chart. It'll be even better than mine. But really, you could just do a random swatch chart. I like doing the swatch charts in this kind of color order because it's a really easy visual for you when you're coloring to get where you want to go. So now we're getting into these warm grays. They're going to function almost, I mean, the grays with not like as big a number. And they're going to function more kind of like the whites, the ivory. These are going to function similarly. Cold gray one and like this cold gray one where you can barely see it, but when you blend it with another color, and I will do some videos on blending. I've done blending on what have I done blending on? Prismacolor. I have not done Crayola, but I have like a chart where you can make 144 colors with just 12. So that's another option. If you don't want to buy all these fine ones that you like, find some like light ones, kind of. And you can get a lot of different colors. You don't want to get ones that are very similar. So you can buy the colors individually, or you can buy the colors all together, like I did. But if you don't want to spend that much money, there are a lot of different options. Cold gray 4. I do like the grays kind of here at the bottom too. I don't know where to put all these. We don't have a lot of gray blues in this set. It just depends. Like, I think there was the Crayola 100 Super Tips have a ton of like grays. This one seemed to be like really green heavy that I noticed. I haven't like counted them all, but just when I was putting together the chart for it. That one's kind of brownish. Payne's gray down here. All right. Then we got black. How black is black? We have silver. Oh, I love that one. I wonder if these ones contain metal. I know the Prismacolor ones do. I'm not sure, but I really like that silver. Gold goes up here. This gold is not my favorite. I love the silver, the gold. Not so much. I don't know why. When I press light, it just, you see how it has a lot of vibrance right here? But when I go to pressing light, it's just not so exciting. Copper. I think it would be a little bit more exciting since it's gold. Let's see this copper. This copper is still, it's not very exciting either. I colored with a Crayola crayon that had, I'll put these ones in, and we will change it out. I will change it out when you guys get your copy. But, what was I saying? Yeah, the crayons were green. I was like, I think there's real copper in here because if a crayon is green, they were from like 1910. I can leave that link for the video too. I need to update a bunch of links, but I'll eventually put it in here. Okay, here we go. Medium flesh, which is now called coral. So what I would come in here and do, we got beige red, we have coral and salmon. Light flesh is now called beige red. B-E-I-J. And I will make 2 versions of this. So if you have the older version, oh man. Okay. And then we have salmon over here. I hope you guys like this video of 120 Polychromos colored pencil swatches. It was interesting to know we did have a couple of changes. Indian red went to India red. I don't know what year these were, but these seem to be updated pencils. Light flesh went to beige red. Medium flesh went to coral, and dark flesh went to salmon. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know your favorite colors. Mine in here, just at a glance, from when I was doing this, oh, there's so many good ones in here. Some of my favorite ones are probably like this dark cadmium yellow. I really like phthalo green in here, was really nice. Medial alizarin crimson was really pretty. There was just a lot of pretty colors in here. This set is super nice. Like I said, if you don't want to get all 120 because they are pretty expensive, you could go through this. You can even look at it on my website and you can decide which ones, and I will leave a link where you can buy them individually. So that way, if you see a certain color that stands out here to you, you can get that. And I hope you guys like this video. Check out some of my other videos. I have one where I just name all the colors. I have some Prismacolor ones, and I have 120 colored pencils from Crayola. I have not done the swatches on those yet, but I will in this coming year. So I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.